Hello, everyone. I'm Tammy McBride. Welcome to the Virtual STEM Showcase Professional Connection Highlight. As you may know, we have been taking the opportunity to interview people from the education and professional sectors around our region that directly connect to STEM and give you a few ideas about your projects. Today, I have Beth Stroshane, founder of Applied Building Information, which specializes in specifications for the construction of small and large scale projects. Beth has a bachelor's of science in both architectural engineering and construction management. Hi, Beth. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Tammy, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'd like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind.
By all means.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about the day in a life of a construction manager or a specification writer.
So, my projects that we work on lots of projects, and they're in the construction industry. So, think buildings, not bridges. So, we work on great big projects like whole city blocks that are high rise buildings in Seattle, or we work on big healthcare projects like Seattle Children's Hospital has a new building. Or we work on little tiny projects like a renovation at North Valley Hospital that's in Tenasket, where you might know where that is. So
Yes.
I'm working on all three of those projects this week. And the piece that I work on is what are those projects made out of? What materials do people put into those buildings?
Interesting. So, can you tell me what the difference between the two are, construction management and specifications writer?
So, construction management is the people who manage the construction of the building. So, the people who make sure that the foundation goes in on the bottom before the glass goes in on the sides, because if you put it all in the wrong order, then the building falls down. So, construction management manages the construction. And so it's schedule and cost and all those things that are very important, but it's during construction. And specification writing defines what materials the construction managers are going to buy and deliver to site. And the specification writer works for the architect who leads the design team.
Awesome. Okay. So, Beth, when did you first realize you had a passion for organizing projects?
Um, well, that happened a lot in school. Some people are hardwired to manage. If you've ever been in a group project and you're the person that tells people that, no, I need you to do that, and can you please do the cover, and can you please do this piece? So if you've ever found yourself doing that, management, construction management might be for you. If you're the one that makes sure if your friends get together that there's snacks, then construction management might be for you. So those are the things that tell you that if you organize stuff, make sure everything runs smoothly, whether it's daycare, your cousins, your friends, your project. That's the same stuff that I do. It's just different snacks and more people.
Great example. Think back to high school or even maybe a college assignment. And was there any one project that you recognize now was early project management or specifications writing? And if so, like, can you maybe elaborate on that, what it looked like?
So thinking back about, is there a specific class? There's not a specific class, but there's definitely a specific experience. So don't think about, okay, what class do I have to take? It's like, what experiences would tell me if this is a good fit for me? So I took a drafting class in high school. I don't even remember what the name of it was, but we drew bridges. And then we built the bridges, and the configuration of the bridge, and whether you made it out of spaghetti or toothpicks, or whether you used gum at the joints or super glue at the joints. I mean, that's where you're choosing a material for a reason. Is it stretchy? Is it strong? Is it flexible? I mean, so that's where, what are the materials to make it do what you want to do. So those kinds of projects, and then any group project that was, are we organizing things? Are we getting people to work together? Are we achieving a common goal by the time that it's due? Those are all kinds of projects and experiences that told me that building things I really like. Because if when I get done, here is this building, right? I can drive by the Children's Hospital building and say, I was part of that building. And that visualness is exciting to me. So that's what inspires me is I can look at, I can go by buildings that I contributed to.
That's great. Um, a construction project manager gets to work with a lot of different people. When you're lining up projects, what kind of professionals do you have to pull in? And then maybe how do you know what order to bring those folks in?
So the big construction projects, even small construction projects, are kind of in two halves. There's the design team that works with the owner to figure out what it's going to look like, act like, feel like, how it's going to be designed. And then there's the construction side, which takes the design and builds it. So depending on which of those two things you're more excited about. So on the design side, the architect is usually first, and they design how the hospital lays out, right? They design how the school lays out to make sure there's enough bathrooms, and that there is the gym, and the gym's big enough for basketball and hockey and volleyball, and that's where the nets hook in. That all goes in the right place. So the architect wants to make sure that the building doesn't fall down. So they hire a structural engineer who designs the structure so that the building doesn't fall down. They also want the building to be comfortable, not too hot, not too cold, and to have fresh air. And so they hire an HVAC engineer who designs those systems. They want the lights to be on and to be able to plug in your computers. And so there's an electrical engineer who designs those systems. They want to make sure all the plants outside don't die. And so they hire a landscape architect to design those kinds of systems. And then there's a slew of subcontractors that work under the general contractor, like an HVAC contractor, who does, guess what? They install what the HVAC design engineer put together. So there's parallels. So you'll be driving around and see trucks that say HVAC on the side of them. They're probably an installer. You'll probably see a electrician. They probably install electrical. So these people are here in the wild in your own community, working on projects here. And there's concrete installers that put down concrete. There's asphalt installers who do the asphalt, and then down to painters and people who install floor covering, that make the buildings be what they are.
So lots of moving parts there.
Lots of different people that all need different skills and personality types.
For sure, for sure. Can you give us an example of some of the projects that you're currently working on? Maybe new or remodel projects? Maybe something that we might recognize?
So we're working on a remodel at North Valley Hospital in Tenasket. We're working on 5 to 7 fire stations and a police station in Idaho. We're working on the new behavioral health teaching facility hospital for the University of Washington, which is the first teaching hospital for mental health in the country. So that's currently being designed. Other projects we're working on is that you'll recognize. Some big stuff for big tech clients in CI, and some assisted living stuff at various other parts of the country.
Awesome. That is so cool. Very fascinating. So, what is an example, maybe one or two examples of when you use one or more STEM skill in your daily job tasks?
STEM. So STEM is science, engineering, math and business?
Technology.
Technology. Okay, I'm using technology right now. So we use specialty software to organize all of our information. So that's a piece of tech. Business, I own my own firm. So, I'm sending out invoicing today. So I'm using that today. Math is in all of that. And science, there's a lot of science in the materials that we use. So there's materials, kind of like if it's raining outside, if it's raining really hard, you want a rain jacket that doesn't breathe, so all the water goes off. Okay,
Yeah.
but if you're running in the rain, if you wear that same rain jacket that doesn't breathe, you're going to be as hot on the inside as the outside. So choosing the right material, so that you're not like sweating yourself silly inside your rain jacket. So those are the things, those are the material choices that we make every day, but that's materials, that's STEM, that's math. So
Yeah. So I have one more question for you, Beth. We have a lot of students listening in on your interview today. What advice would you give them if any of them are interested in construction or specifications writing? Do you have any advice for them?
um, so my biggest piece of advice is go after something that you're interested in. And if it doesn't end up being the right choice, you'll find the next thing from there. So when I was in 7th grade, I decided I wanted to be an architectural engineer because I took a career class and I flipped through the book, and architectural engineer was the engineer that made the most money. I'm like, ooh, excellent. Right after civil engineers, and my grandpa was a civil engineer, so I thought that's cool. Except for they design sewers, and I was not interested in designing sewers, so I went for architectural engineering. Um, but they also do bridges, which is super cool. So I went that direction. I got both my degrees and figured out that that wasn't the best personality fit for me. But that education allowed me to find our, specifications, which I didn't even know existed when I was in high school and didn't know existed when I was in college. But now I own a firm that writes specifications. So um, your career will keep evolving. It's just you're not choosing the end all final thing that you will ever be until you die. You are choosing the first thing to use your skills and expertise at to see if it's a right fit for you. And construction is a massive industry. It takes people that are organized. It takes people that are good at math. It takes people that are good at sales. It takes people that just make everybody comfortable. So the industry is big and it needs everybody. So if you're interested in it, pursue it. Ask somebody. The guy who's at Starbucks who's driving the HVAC truck. Say, hey, Mister, what do you do for a living? Can you tell me about it? And they will tell you about it. So, or, you go by, you're getting a donut, and on the front of the door in the next building, it says something about surveyors. Go ask them, hey, Mister, what do you do for a living? So ask people what they do, chase something that sounds fascinating to you. And if it's not the right fit, try something else.
Great advice, Beth. Thank you. Well, I think that's all of the time that we have for today's episode. Don't forget to submit individual projects or group projects for a chance to win cash prizes. All projects, please, must be submitted by Friday, May 6th. Also, if you are a community partner and listening in on these Connection Highlight series, don't forget to vote for your favorite projects. Voting is open until May 13th. Thank you so much, Beth, for answering our questions today. And thank you all for listening in, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.